Imagine being a young child, dropped off at your mother's house for a weekend visit. Everything seems normal until it isn't. On May 24, 1992, Richard Mosby and his new wife, Deborah, arrive at Gail Mosby's home in Jackson, Mississippi, to return her two sons, but there is no answer. Her car is in the driveway, her belongings are there, so they notify the neighbor who uses his spare key. What he finds in the bathtub is shocking. Gail, 39 and a nurse, unclothed, head submerged in just a few inches of water, feet and legs awkwardly draped over the edge. No sign of trauma, but something doesn't feel right. At first glance, suicide. A folded note, pills nearby, and a journal hinting at depression. But forensic veteran Charlie Smith notices suspicious details. A bruise on Gail's ankle, a tiny spot of blood in the water, and a scene too neat for self-harm. You can't drown yourself in shallow water, he later observed. The coroner initially ruled it a suicide, but ethnic tensions and unknown gay relationship stigma may have swayed judgment. Gail had confided fear of being discovered, her mental state shaken. Questions arise. Gail had full custody of her two sons since the 1986 divorce. Her ex, Richard, and his new wife, Deborah, had custody weekends, and Deborah reportedly despised Gail. Deborah allegedly pressured Gail by phone and in person. Investigators uncover a chilling conversation. Deborah asked her stepfather, Roy Kyle, if he knew someone who could take care of Gail. That stepfather introduced her to Billy Ray Ford, a known criminal, who would later admit partial involvement. So how do you prove murder when the coroner won't budge? Months of detective work uncovers suspicious calls between Deborah and both Roy and Billy Ray. Testimonials from Roy and his wife, Eloise Kyle, bolster the narrative. Deborah had expressed hatred for Gail and admitted involvement in planning. A cozy conversation in Roy's home, recorded under police wire, shows Deborah denying hiring Ford to kill Gail, but admitting she wanted Gail scared or roughened up. That nuanced denial still sounded damning. Gail was buried without an autopsy. Investigators eventually secured exhumation and brought in Dr. Michael Baden, a legendary pathologist. He observed abrasion on Gail's nose, consistent with a rag pressed over mouth, nose. Lack of expected signs of fainting. Her body showed drowning after forced unconsciousness. The ankle bruise and positioning suggested restraint and staging. He concluded this was not suicide but homicide by strangulation and forced drowning. In December 1995, Deborah stood trial for capital murder, while Richard and Ford pleaded guilty to conspiracy. Ford switched sides and testified against them. The jury convicted Deborah. The jury could not decide sentencing, so the judge imposed a life sentence, later upheld on appeal. Prosecutors argued the motive: custody, child support relief, and life insurance benefits. Gail's children, Joe and Bill, were forcibly raised by their father and Deborah after bail release until their grandparents fought custody and brought them to Louisiana. Their childhood was irrevocably altered. Today, they recall how falling for the suicide narrative felt absurd. This case is a chilling reminder how a scene engineered to look like suicide can mask calculated murder. From bruises in shallow water to phone records and hidden alliances, every detail mattered. What if Deborah had been more subtle? What if the coroner had reversed the ruling sooner? Could justice have come faster? Let me know in the comments which details shocked you most. Gail's body position, the rag on her face, or Deborah's lying witness testimony. If you want more deep dives into true crime mysteries that reveal the power of forensic investigation and hidden motive, hit subscribe and join us for our next episode. The truth always finds a way.